They expect me to work miracles. And guess what? Alrighty, guys, here it is right here. Y'all see that? It was towed in. Look how the tow truck dropped this off. Now, it was towed in because it won't start. Now, as you can see, the key triggers the alarm, so I do have a perfectly good working key. Or do I? All right, I don't know. Let's see. Can we foot on the brake? Nothing. Now, y'all know the trick, okay? From my understanding, the customer opened this up and put a battery in it. All right, that is one of the easiest things you can try first, guys. So I highly suggest if your car won't start, if it's push to start and won't start using the push to start features, try a battery first. Now, there's a new battery in it. So let's do the second option we have. Foot on the brake, use the nosebleed of the key, and still nothing. Okay, so she's told me she tried that as well. Now, guys, remember, this is this module or this RKE system is on the bus, so you need a good scan tool to properly diagnose this car. All right, don't go to a customer car with a code reader trying to diagnose stuff like this. You will be embarrassed. Okay, you cannot diagnose this type of stuff using a code reader. You need a scan tool that will read RFH, radio frequency hub. All right, that is this new system. All cars are different. Your car may be equipped with something else. This one RFH. Now, I'm gonna hook my scan tool up. I want y'all to take a look at this screen right here. Do y'all see this? Now, because I'm unable to turn the ignition on, this is what your topology would probably look like. All right, as you can see, CAN C is all red. PCM and things like that, modules like that, yeah, we can't talk to them because there's no ignition in the run position, simply because the key is not working. Now, however, take a look at this. I can, however, talk to the RFH. Know why? Because some engineer at Chrysler thought it was pretty smart to let this be possible. Yes, guys, it's possible. In the event that your ignition won't turn on, you still need a way to potentially program a key. Yeah, think about that for a second. We dogged the engineers out a lot, but this was one good smart thing for them to implement. Now that I'm able to get into the RFH, let's take a look at the code. Y'all see that code? Yes, guys, you read that right. All right, sticking. The button is sticking. All right, yes, get a load of that code. I have yet to see such a code. I have a long time ago, but now let's take a look at something. See, this is the button they're talking about. It's sticking from a electrical standpoint. There's a trouble code for this. All right, now it's still not starting. So here's what I got to do. Because this key is so beat up and old, I'm gonna have to recommend a new key as well as a push to start push button. All right, this is not the RFH hub module. This is nothing more than a switch. And y'all know what switches do. Switches does nothing more than close a circuit. All right, so when that circuit is closed and the skim module received a signal, remember, it's all coded. All right, there's a code in here that has to match the RFH. When that code received that signal, or when that module received that signal, cranking will be allowed at that point. All right, so y'all hold tight. I'm going to recommend, yeah, sometimes you can get it, sometimes you can't. I'm going to recommend a key as well as a push to start based off the trouble code and based off the condition looking of this key. Is this key fine? Very possible, but you got to understand the position I'm in. I got one chance to get this right, guys. Customers expect the world out of a top-notch mechanic like me. All right, they expect me to work miracles. And guess what? I'm going to deliver on such. All right, so if they approve it, guys, I'll fire the camera up and we'll proceed with this repair. If not, just so you know what this car needs. All right, I need a skim module, I need a push to start button, and a key. And then, of course, I'm gonna have to program those. All right, gotta go. This is a Jeep Cherokee. Okay, y'all see this? Yeah, these are a pain, guys. I had to find a cheap way to get in here because I didn't want to fight with all of this. So this is the push start button. This is nothing more than a switch, I think. I don't think it's nothing really module related. I'm not sure. But anyway, I had a code for this, and this was a no start. So I've already, here's my new one right here. I already plugged in, so I already got it. You simply unplug the connector and plug it in a new one, and yeah, so now it starts. So here's my deal, guys. Now this car is not that old. 2019, I say. What are we talking? 5, 6, 7 years? I think before you get stranded on the road, you might want to just replace this for the hell of it. After about 7, 8 years, I guess too many constant push on and off, on and off. You see a little trash in there that could potentially open up the contacts. This vehicle was towed in. Literally, I'm gonna put the code on the screen. Yes, guys, and my diagnosis led me to this. Now, you can't diagnose this with a regular code reader, guys. You have to have a scan tool. All code readers will not talk to your RFH hub. Radio frequency hub. That is the module that's monitoring this. All right. If your code reader can't communicate with that module, you're never going to be able to diagnose stuff like this. So don't go embarrass yourself by taking on jobs. Somebody call you and say, you're a mobile mechanic. They call you, I got a 2019 Jeep Cherokee. It won't start. It won't crank. All right. Yeah, I know. I can easily. They probably need a starter. You're going to embarrass yourself. You go driving out there 100 miles with your code reader and you have no P codes. Because remember, by law, car makers have to give you P codes because that's relating to emissions. And that's probably all they're going to get you. U codes and communication codes and things like that and other modules. All right. This will not affect emissions. Hell, without this, you're not going to even run. So anything that will affect emission probably will be attached to a P code. PO300s, multiple cylinder misfire, things like that. But yeah, anybody can replace this, but everybody can't diagnose this. So keep that in mind. Now I got notice this is on another shell, a different type shell. So what I got to do is simply take these off, these screws off. Yeah, look at all that dirt and nasty stuff. And put the new one in, guys, and just simply bolt it all back up. Y'all see how I got this out? I got the radio out. It's going to feel like you're breaking this because it's held on with some tight clips, but just be patient and pull. Well, I got to finish this job up, guys, and then I'm done. That's all I got. Thanks for freaking tuning in.